Hello and welcome to another episode of Music and Words Unite. I am your lone host today, Troy, and today I'm going to be asking you all a question. What is your favorite album of all time? I'm just curious. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your thoughts. I share my number one, but I would love to hear yours. If you were on a desert island and you could only bring 5 albums and maybe even one, what would it be? That's what I'm looking for today. That's what I want to talk about. So. As some of you may know, I've been started collecting vinyl records, so this is an excuse to talk about records. But overall, it's just a joke, half joke. But I would love to hear what your favorite albums are, and maybe we do some album reviews on the channel as well. I figured I'd start off with my teenage years. This is not my. I'm going to build up to my all-time favorite album, but these are some of my favorite albums growing up. If I know this one. Master of Puppets. This is one I'm kind of proud of. This is one of the first pressings of Master of Puppets. It sounds awesome. And yeah, obviously this is one of the most famous metal albums of all time. Most people consider it Metallica's best album. And the other one they consider Metallica's best album is this one. And this is also a first pressing as well. And this also sounds amazing. If I had to pick between these, these two albums, goes back and forth. I would say overall Master of Puppets is probably maybe the overall better album, but some of my all-time favorite songs are on Ride the Lightning, like Creeping Death is one of them. So anyway, shout out to Metallica. Moving on from my teenage years, I got one album for you here. Obviously, this is a big, heavy one. If anybody knows what this is Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by Smashing Pumpkins. This is my actual favorite alt-rock album ever, pretty much. And this is a box set on vinyl. So if you haven't heard that, check that out. We actually did a Smashing Pumpkins tier list. One of our first videos, so go check that out. It looks way different than our videos now, but the content is still good. We actually ranked every single Smashing Pumpkins album that they ever made on a tier list. So check that out. One of my all-time favorite albums is also right here, Siamese Dream. This is a first pressing of Siamese Dream. This one is a very special album to me to have a first pressing of this. It's a really cool collector's item, and it sounds amazing as well. So yeah. So that's moving on. I'm going to move on to one of my more recent favorite bands and some favorite albums. One of them is Meliora by Ghost. A lot of Ghost fans consider this their best album. I don't, but I do consider it one of their best. And because they're one of my favorite bands, it's one of my favorite albums. If you've never heard this album, definitely check it out. Hopefully we'll get an album review of this. Mark, I don't think, has ever heard this album in its entirety, so it's a good chance for an album review. Moving on to my all-time favorite Ghost album, which is Brickell. We do have an album review of this on our channel, actually. It is my favorite Ghost album, and therefore one of my favorite albums, pretty much. Check out that review. I'll put it in the description, or maybe, I don't know. I'll figure out how to put that, maybe do a pop-up on the video itself. All right, so why don't we get to my number one? So, before we get there, actually, there's a few more I wanted to talk about. So, I forgot about one of my all-time favorite artists. Excuse me. Sorry. His name is Prince. Most people know Prince for this album, which is an incredible album. It's probably objectively his best album, front to back, start to finish. There's no skips. Every song, in my opinion, is absolutely perfect on this record. This is a first pressing as well. The club pressing from the first run. Amazing sounding record. Yeah, it's Purple Rain. If you've never heard this album, actually, go sit down and listen to this album. It's awesome. But this one is actually my favorite Prince album. This is called Sign of the Times. We've never done an album review of this. Maybe we will one day. We also are planning on doing a Prince tier list, which would be ranking every Prince album, and I think there's about 50 of them. So that's a huge episode to be able to rank 50 albums. It's a lot of music to listen to because some of these albums I haven't heard in a long time, especially the ones from the 2000s. And Mark has not heard like half the discography. So, but that hopefully is coming in the summertime. All right. So that leads us with my all-time favorite band. So yeah, why don't we go there? Okay. So we're going to do a build up to my favorite album of all time. So some of you may know my all-time favorite band is a little band called Dream Theater. And this album is one of my favorite Dream Theater albums, Awake. It's from 1994. And yeah, it's an incredible progressive rock, progressive metal album from front to back. Love this album. The next one, some people think this is Dream Theater's best album, Scenes from Memory. I actually think this is my personal favorite, how should I put it, concept album. I've heard most of the prog rock concept albums in my life, and this one is my favorite. So to me, it's the best, but the best is all subjective, right? And that leads me to, oh, by the way, we've never done an album review of any of these albums, but we did do a Dream Theater tier list. It was our second episode ever. So go check that one out if you're interested. And we ranked every Dream Theater album. And this leads me to my all-time number one favorite album. If I had to take it on a desert island, and sorry, something's going on with my lighting. I don't know what's going on, but I'll get it worked out for next time. This is my all-time favorite album. This is Images and Words by Dream Theater, signed by the band. I got this signed in February, and a first pressing of it from 1992. This is probably my crown jewel record I have in my collection because it's my personal favorite, it's rare, and it's signed. So yeah, this album is awesome. We've never done an album review of this, but there is a tier list, and spoiler, this album is ranked number one on the tier list. So there you go. Yeah, this is Images and Words by Dream Theater, one of the best progressive rock, progressive metal albums of all time, probably by anyone, in my opinion, and many people's opinion, especially in the progressive metal scene. They kind of defined, they didn't invent progressive metal, but they pretty much defined it and popularized it for the most part. So anyway, what about you? What are your favorite albums of all time? I would love to hear that, and especially what's your number one? Leave it in the comments. And if I see some nice comments, maybe we do some album reviews based on your suggestions, especially if we've never heard them before. All right, well, if you like this episode, if you want more content like this where we just talk about topics, it doesn't have to be a long-winded video, a reaction video, or an album review. We just talk about a topic and maybe we can share things we like together. Give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe if it's your first time here. And yeah, until next time, see you later.